Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Bertha Gimme HD here today. In today's video, Killing Floor 3 was supposed to launch at the end of this month, but with the passion of the Killing Floor community, it has forced Tripwire Interactive to not only cancel the launch at the end of this month, releasing on March 25th, but also pushing it back to an undecided date for this year. It may end up releasing in 2026. Who knows? Only time will tell. And from the Killing Floor 3 official Twitter page, they end up stating, "Dear Killing Floor fans, we've made a decision to postpone Killing Floor 3's launch to an undecided date later in 2025. After taking the time to gather and discuss feedback from the recent closed beta, we've realized that we missed the mark. Our goal isn't to just make Killing Floor 3 an ambitious step forward for the franchise, but also to maintain the core experience that you've came to know and love. With the full support of our partner company Embracer Group, we're working together on a timeline to address many of the common issues players had during the beta, including performance/stability issues, UI/UX lighting, and weapon feel. While it's too early to say which fixes will be implemented by launch, we can confirm that an update allowing you to independently select your perk class and character is planned for post-release. We are looking forward to another opportunity to show you more polished version of Killing Floor 3, and when we're ready to share more details, you will be the first to know. Until then, we thank you and your continued patience and overwhelming support. Sincerely, the Tripwire Interactive Development Team." And that is the statement that they ended up releasing when after the closed beta, which I was aware that they were supposed to have a live stream back on the 27th of February, but that ended up getting canceled, and they were kind of just radio silent for a little while until they decided to release that statement a little bit after that. And after reading that whole entire statement, they realized that, they messed up, they screwed it up bad, and Killing Floor 3 was not ready to be launched. And I could even tell just by playing Killing Floor 3 that it just felt too boring. It felt way too generic, and the heroes class/specialist system, or whatever you want to call it, it really just made me just question the whole game overall. And I'm starting to play a whole lot more Killing Floor 2 now, and I'm starting to enjoy the maps and the gameplay and finding some really crazy setups to literally just run these hordes of Zeds down to the ground. But it's good to see that Tripwire Interactive have decided to take a step back and postpone the launch of Killing Floor 3 until they feel it is more acceptable by the Killing Floor community. And that is a good thing. Just take your time, just cook with the game, and make Killing Floor, what made it so unique to so many fans and so many players, even the content creators for that matter, that fell in love with this franchise in the first place. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with the game taking its time. But at the same time, people will probably end up losing interest on Killing Floor 3 because it's taking so long to develop. But for those who are the hardcore fans and are the main staple of the Killing Floor franchise, they will wait for this game till the ends of time. And that's a good thing, because the hardcore player base will stick around for the long run. And that's a good thing. That is what the Killing Floor community needs, is the more dedicated player base to this franchise to keep this game going, to keep this game alive. And it's crazy to see that a community this passionate about a franchise like Killing Floor had a lot of power to literally force their hand to postpone the launch. And that is something that you really do not see a whole lot within gaming nowadays. And it's like I said in the last video, I came from the Call of Duty community. I came from Call of Duty for many years, and I pretty much left that franchise. And that community is just a living nightmare in itself. There was never any change. There was always promises, and it was always broken promises. They always promised to change this, they always promised to change that, and they really did not give a shit. They just pretty much gave us what we wanted, kind of, and just shut us up. But here, this community, it's more passionate, it's more vocal, and the community knows what's best for the Killing Floor franchise, especially the hardcore players. They know what works for Killing Floor. They know what they want from this game and what they want from this franchise. And, change is a good thing, but when you change so much of the core fundamentals of what makes that game so unique and so genuine to players and content creators and people of this community alike, it's going to upset a portion of the community. It's going to upset them to the point of where they're not going to want to play Killing Floor 3. They're going to go back and stick to playing Killing Floor 1 or Killing Floor 2, respectively, depending on which game was their favorite. And just reading the comments from the last video pretty much shows me that this community actually cares. This community gives a shit about the direction of this franchise and what they want this franchise to be. They don't want it to be a trend chaser. They don't want it to be just another generic AAA game on the market just to make a quick cash grab, even though the microtransactions in Killing Floor 2, which I do not understand fully, but I can understand the microtransactions in that game were probably a living nightmare. Just comment down below if that was even true. But it shows that when you have a community like the Killing Floor community that actually cares about a product, that actually cares about a franchise like Killing Floor, and the developers decide to literally change their idea and pretty much change the whole aspect of what made Killing Floor so genuine to so many, it loses that identity. And I can see why people were upset. And I'm starting to play a whole lot more Killing Floor 2 now, and the maps are so different from one another. I can feel the atmosphere, the intention, and even when I'm getting overran by the Zeds, I'm like, this is probably where my run is going to die. This is where it's my last stand, my last fight, and I gotta hold my ground till the very end. And I like that feeling with Killing Floor 2. And the more I play it, I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more and more. Starting to find some different classes, trying to find some different weapons and setups that I might end up running. And it's just so fun to literally play with some of these guns here in Killing Floor 2. And I'd like to see the same concept transfer over to Killing Floor 3 to have that beefiness of the gun sounds, making it feel like each bullet hitting the Zed feels like it's impactful, instead of it feeling like an absolute generic pea shooter that feels like you're barely doing anything to the Zeds and you're just sitting there like just shooting them and like there ain't freaking flinching or reacting or nothing. And just seeing the whole entire dismemberment and just the survival aspect of this round base mode, or game I should say, is just so unique in its own right. It just pretty much capitalizes on the idea of survival. How long can you go until you die? And I'm playing this a whole lot more solo because I have this game. I enjoy this game more playing it solo than I do playing online with randoms. And this is like my favorite gun so far. It's the Tommy gun, like the futuristic Tommy gun with explosive rounds. And I'm like running like demolition. I'm running different classes slash perk systems or whatever you want to call it. And it's just a blast. It's literally been a blast just playing Killing Floor 2, making content for this game. And this is my second video. But the support on the first Killing Floor video was so crazy and amazing that I want to thank, everybody who has subscribed, everybody that liked the video, and those who commented. I'm starting to learn more about the Killing Floor community than ever before, and it's going to be fun to, see where this game goes, see where this game develops over time, and just see Killing Floor 3 hopefully be a better product. Maybe. That is just me preaching at that point. But in all aspects, I have been enjoying this series. I have been enjoying this franchise. And I wish to see more from Tripwire Interactive and see what they will do with Killing Floor 3. And I want the same type of the same atmosphere, the same aesthetic, that feeling of, down to the last bullet, down to the last wire, just surviving the hordes of the Zeds just roaming, just overrunning you little by little, every inch, every corner, running down to the last mag in your gun. And it's going to be a blast seeing if Killing Floor 3 can deliver. But with it being postponed later into 2025, maybe going into 2026, it's still too early to tell. But I'm excited to see where this franchise will go with Killing Floor 3 going forward. And it's been your boy Brotherhood Gaming HD, everybody. And if you are new to the channel, please do not subscribe, like, hit them bell notifications, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out and goodbye, everybody.